Welcome to It's Just Different podcast, where we bring on people who have been where you're trying to go and or have helped countless athletes get there. Y'all, we're going to do something different for these next few episodes. We're going to take it back. Yes, we are taking it back to all of our episodes to give you the information that I know you missed. We're going to combine different sections, different topics together in one episode. So we're going to have the college coaches, different perspectives, giving you information to help you. We got college coaches, we got AAU coaches, we got professional players, we got our most watched episode. We got a lot of different episodes to take it back so that you can get this information that I know you missed out on. So come with us on this journey as we take it back, because we got something special for our 50th episode. Now let's get to the episode.
I think it's egos from the directors, it's egos from the coaches, it's egos from the parents, it's egos from the trainers, it's egos from everybody that ultimately goes down to the kid.
100%. Now it's not like that everywhere, but you could see bits and pieces of it, and it's kind of like once they let that ego go, the sky's the limit for most kids.
But guess what? Like you said, it's not like that everywhere. Look at the places where it's not like that, and look at that program. Look at how many kids is going to school, whether that's Division 1, Division 2, Division 3, JUCO.
Yes, it's crazy. Like the programs that put kids in school don't got egos. All we're worried about is putting kids in school debt free.
Yep, debt free. I always say debt free. I don't care where it's at, like debt free or as close as possible to it.
Yeah, exactly.
Like that should be the end goal.
Yeah, I think just the mindset is different now. I think the mindset is different now with the kids, and they don't really look at it like that. But at the end of the day, if you're going to school for free, regardless of where you're going, and you can make an impact, you gotta go to that school.
Yeah. Now, totally off topic, just because I'm curious. Like, what is your coaching style? Like, what? I come to a SA Finest game. I'm watching. What am I seeing from Coach Amber?
You gonna see me running up and down the sideline, jumping, cheering. I'm hype. But then again, I could get real serious. So it really depends on like if I need to yell and jump around that game, or if I need to be real locked in, real serious. Some games you could laugh a little bit because kids don't want to see all the serious. So you come into a timeout and you kind of crack a joke. It's like, all right, we good, lock back in. Most of the time, I'm hype up and down that sideline, hype.
So you the energetic type of coach, a lot of energy.
100% energy. I'm gonna bring the energy.
I'm gonna
bring the energy regardless. That's me for sure.
I can definitely see that. Now, are you sitting on the bench with the other teams too, or you in the stands?
SA Finest?
Yeah.
Oh no, I'm on the bench. I'm deep. We deep. You know, SA Finest rolls deep.
Now, how is that? Like, let's say you sitting on the bench you coach the 16s or 15s? 15s. You on the 16s bench. It's 4 of y'all. How are y'all? One thing that I have always like struggled with a little bit, because I sit on the bench with all my teams, is like low key coaching. Like you got the coach coaching, and then you got me, and then the person that coach with me is on the bench too, and then she coaching. Like,
so basically, like I had to learn that with high school. You know, I gotta. Like, it's little suggestions you put, like, once if they, like, come down, get a drink of water, you like, all right, what about this? Or you just throw those suggestions out there, like, or just repeat. Like, they'll say something and just repeat it. And they'll look at you and they'll be like, yeah, repeat it. And then, like, little suggestions here and there, like, all right, what if we ran this? Or, like, there's a timeout. Or what if you change the defense up here? It is just little things. But trust me, I've had to really, it's hard.
It's so hard. It's so hard. Now,
I want to be a head coach.
Man, so Jazz.
I want to be a head coach, but it's cool. It's cool.
It's so hard. So, like, I gotta shout out one of my coaches, Jazz Griffin. We at the very beginning, she'd be like, basically, I know what she thinking. Like, bro, do you want to just coach?
Oh, me.
Here's the board. But I also feel that if you at a good high school, if you with a good coach, like, you're going to get some of those looks during high school. And I feel like that's something that you was able to do, because Hoop Fest or whatever tournament, Sandra Meadows Classic, like all of these different things that these coaches go to, you made sure your team was there and your kids
Right.
got
And that
looked
was,
at.
yes, yes. And that was another goal of that. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to
Oh no, you good.
chime in on you. But that was another thing, like, um, man, and this is probably, I wanted to help my daughter as well too.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to help everybody on the roster because all of them are my daughters. But when the evolvement of high school basketball and when you play at a high level, the coaches are starting to funnel back into the high school programs as well too. So
Mm-hmm.
basically what I wanted to do, my goal was to give my girls an additional live period throughout the whole high school
Yes.
season. That's what I wanted to do. You know what I mean? I wanted to be able to provide the exposure for them so that way if they didn't get opportunities in the summer or if they were, minimized with opportunities or lost some time, like my daughter, you know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? We were able to get some time back to play at a high level and get college coaches on our baselines in every tournament, in every showcase, and just in some of our regular season games. We had several coaches come to watch us play.
That's dope. I love it. I do want to go into your daughter a little bit. Congrats. Right? She's
Thank
going
you.
to Tarzan
Appreciate it.
State.
Appreciate it.
Who did y'all
Yes.
play AAU with?
We played with Drive. Our last EYB, last session EYBL circuit with Drive Nation.
Okay, and who were y'all with before that?
Well, before that, so of course her junior year or her sophomore year is where she actually tore ACL. So in that season before she tore ACL, she was actually with Family. So we were actually on the Adidas circuit prior to that, and then prior to that, of course, we were DC Queens. That's
Yeah.
actually where we kind of originated for the most part. So majority of our AAU plan was under DC.
Got you. And she tore ACL, finished off with Drive, and did not have a ton of looks, right? She was coming off of an injury, and played with Drive. Like, what made you?
Mhm.
I feel like a lot of parents, after that first live period, if they didn't see what they wanted, they would have bounced. Like, what made you stay with Drive?
Well, I mean, one, we don't quit.
Mm-hmm.
I'm never, that's just something instilled into my family, and that's our culture. That's what I instill into our program. Once we start something, we're gonna finish it. And it wasn't necessary, just her playing with Drive. She wasn't getting the looks. I'm not gonna say that. Because even after the first tournament, when we played after Boo Williams in Virginia, she was getting interest. She was getting looks. The biggest thing about it is with her statue of caliber, you know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean, as far as her height, and then she's
Mm-hmm.
got this big old brace on.
Yep.
I understand it. I'm a realist. Coaches are scared of that, even though she's shooting the skin off the ball, and by far she was one of the best shooters you can arguably say in the country.
Mm-hmm.
So at the end of the day, some of those things like, man, she can shoot it, she can do this, she can do this, but what's up with the brace?
Yeah.
I was like, I mean, what do you mean? What's up with the brace? I mean,
You know.
yeah. I mean, she recovered. You know what I mean? She recovered. She was cleared in like 7.5 months. She was where he wanted. Dr. Gillum did a great job of recovering her and getting her back right. She was really ready to go in about 6.5, 7 months. But
Yeah.
he told me, I really want to hold her out 8 months because what I don't want to do is I don't want her to come back and ever see me. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And I understood that.
Sometimes the episodes is just not enough. You need weekly information sent to you on top of these episodes. So make sure you subscribe. But if you want weekly tips, weekly updates straight to your inbox, make sure you message. Follow us. Come on over.
It would be very,
Yes.
very competitive. I'm not going to say who's going to win, but it would be very competitive. It would be standing room only. I can tell you that. It'd be a
Which is
nail biter.
everybody's goal, exposure. Like,
Yes, everybody's goal is exposure, and the baselines would be filled to capacity. And I think back to what we did as a team with Cy-Fair.
mm-hmm.
If everybody had a point to prove, Brooke McCarty, AJ Alex wouldn't have worked on the same team.
Yep.
Everybody had a point to prove. Me and Kristen Inman would have worked on the same team. Me and Dominic Dillingham would have worked on the same team. Courtney Latham would have worked on the same team. Lily Thompson would have worked on the same team. Kennedy Leonard would have. If everybody had a point to prove, we wouldn't have worked the way that we worked together. And I think that if you are who you say you are, what you do best is you make people around you better. You elevate everybody else's game to yours. Now you can succeed together to reach that common goal. And I think that is indicative of a great player. Do you make others around you better? It's not about what you're trying to prove to everybody else. It's not.
And I say this all the time. It's like when I'm coaching my teams, I might look silly on the sideline, but I don't see anybody. I don't hear anybody. It is just me and my team I'm communicating with. That's what it feels like. It feels like we are at practice communicating amongst each other, just us, closely. How we're talking to each other, how we're connected, how we are pointing, how we are celebrating, how we're cheering. They're like, dang, she got a lot of energy. They got a lot of energy. That's just the culture that we create. There's no remove the egos. Add the work, add the chemistry, add the love, add the passion to the game. And you'll see how things will work successfully across the board. And I say that at every level, at the high school level, at the collegiate level, at the pro level. Everybody's got so much of, I put all this work in. Let me get to this step back. I've been working on it. When that might not be the right play to make. That might not be the right play to make. And you'll understand that when you understand how to work with others well. And that extends beyond the scope of a gym. That extends beyond that type of infrastructure. Can you work with others well? How are you working in the classroom? How are you working in your profession? And that's what I try to teach my players. This doesn't stop here. That ball will stop bouncing. And if you are always trying to prove your worth to other people, you're going to be just spinning your wheels. You're going to spend so much time trying to spin your wheels. It's exhausting. It's exhausting. I say, let love lead. Let love lead. Let the compassion speak for itself and do the work. Yes, do the work. Prepare, because again, preparation breeds confidence, but you have to allow that to do the work in itself.
Oh, Bre, this was an hour of gems. This was, we can't end it no better than that. This was an hour of gems. If you could name this episode, what would be the title?
Ooh. Oh man, if you could name this episode, let it be. What's the title? Let love lead.
Let love lead. I like that. I like that.
That's how I lead my life. And I know my players feel it. I know my staff feels it. And what I'll leave you with is this. When coaches and players understand that you're not working for me, I'm not working for you, we are all working together, success will incur. We're all working together in this.
That's going to be your advice, because I ain't like that. That was it. We start the podcast off with something that's different. I like to end with you, with the guest. What would be different about Bre or with Bre within the next 3 to 5 years?
So it's cool to be able to implement those in the practices.
Yeah, that's dope. Like, I really believe that to make a well-rounded athlete, it's a village. And that village is AAU coach, trainer, high school coach, parents. Like, everybody should be working together. And I don't think that you see that a lot, right? Like, I think, some kids can't help what school, they go to. They just can't help that at the end of the day. But like, I think that the really good kids and kids that be able to take their game to a next level are also kids that are in good high school programs.
100%. I definitely agree with that. So like, kids going from a great AAU program to a great high school, to have great trainers, to their parents being so accepting to all of that stuff is definitely a great feeling. And you could tell some of those kids, like, all right, yeah, these kids are ready. They're ready to go to the next level. So it's definitely cool to see.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, when you think about it, the person that has the most time with the kid is the high school coach. It's the high school.
100%. 100%. Now that I'm a high school coach, I see that. Like, dang, we spend a lot of time with, like, the athletes as far as like practices. We see them at school. We go on like trips and stuff as far as tournaments. And then, so it's a lot of time with them.
Yeah, man, I ain't gonna lie. This conversation is kind of making me miss coaching in high school. Like, dang.
Might as well go back. It's fun.
Yeah,
might as well go back.
It make me miss it. I've thought about it a few times, and then I'm just like,
yeah. Why get out?
Say it again.
I said, why'd you get out?
How do I want to answer this? So,
not a question. We gonna come back to that.
No, it's cool. It's cool. I'm definitely gonna answer it. Long story short, so once I finished at Texas, I was a middle school coach. I thought I was gonna go be a GA.
And like, you know, being a GA, you get 2 years. So I wanted to be in the Big 12. I played in the Big 12. I wanted to be a GA. And it was really so I can get my master's and continue to figure out my life.
Right.
But most of
the little time.
Yeah, that's it. I'm just trying to buy time. That's all.
I feel that.
Most of the schools was in their second year. So they was like, you know, basically just after this year, we'll have some openings. Went to middle school. And then after that, I ended up getting a head coaching job at a school. I ain't going to say their name, but it was at a school.
Okay, all right. It's cool.
Had a good, you know, it was good. Like, they had never been to playoffs. We went to playoffs. But at the end of the day, I was young. Like, and some people just don't like that. I'm going to just say that. Some people just don't like that. So to answer your question, I got out because of that. Like, I had a good experience with the kids, but I had a bad experience just like with administration, just that, you know, overall, like,
I got you.
Just a bad experience. And it kind of gave me a bad taste of what it is, what it looks like.
You my dog for life, man.
Man, like, I appreciate you. I appreciate what you're doing for the game. When we can keep this rolling and keep this episode going. But I definitely want to be respectful of your time. But again, like I said, I appreciate what you're doing. Before I even met you, like, I was watching you. I was watching your teams, and I'm big on energy. And to be honest, like, we talked about practice schedule. We talked about the strength of schedule. We talked about all these different things. But at the end of the day, I solely believe, like, alongside of all of that, but you was able to win because you got kids who are bought in. In order to be bought in, like, they got to know my coach got my back. They got to know my coach trusts me. They got to know my coach love me. Like, my coach is going through this with me. And not a lot of coaches are like that, you know, and I think that really is what makes you stand out. And what makes you one of my favorite coaches. Like, I truly enjoy watching you coach. Like, I love the energy, and those kids play for you. Like, they literally play for you. And to me, that's why y'all was able to win back to back.
And I appreciate you so much. Like I say, I'm a fan of you as well. It was a blessing to meet you, and you've been a blessing ever since I have met you. So thank you. Like I said earlier in our talk, in our interview, like, I'm gonna fight for my kids, you know, in rooms that they're not in. And so at the end of the day, it's about relationships. And like I told you, like, every one of them on my roster, I consider them as a daughter. Yeah. And I think they know that. So yeah, we're gonna have good days. Yeah, we're gonna have bad days. Yeah, we're gonna fuss. We're gonna fight. But at the end of the day, I'm gonna ride and die for my girls. And in return, they ride and die for me. So thank you. You've been an inspiration to me and my family and to my daughter. So you're big from the Willis crew. We appreciate you too. And we value your relationship to us as well too.
Yes, no, I appreciate it. If you could name this episode, what would you name it?
Champ Talk.
Oh, I like that. That's a good one.
Or let's go. Hold on. You know, it's like I'm trying to figure out how I can do a chalk talk. So maybe that's right. Maybe Champ Talk.
I think
that. Some Champ Talk. All right, bet.
I think I
bet.
like that.
If you like it, roll with it. If not, you know, just tweet. You know, tweet it.
That was good.
Whatever you want to do.
That was good. Before we get out of here, actually, no, we end. Before we end, I always end here. We started with what's different with the game. I like to end with the person. What will be different with you within the next 3 to 5 years?
I think the overall end goal is to get to the collegiate level. So maybe in the next 3 to 5 years, you may see me there. And then we'll go from there. I guess that's all I'm gonna say right there.
I'm just saying, if these coaches ain't looking at you on this staff right now, I don't know what they doing. I don't know what y'all doing. Y'all need to get my guy on staff. I'm just saying. Whenever he ready and whenever y'all ready, we need to make it happen. Now, I appreciate that. If you can leave some words of wisdom to a parent, to a player, to a coach, whatever's on your heart, and tell people where they can find you.
You can find me at Vega High School, Bellmead, Texas. Of course, social media. I think my Twitter is at Vega Girls Basketball. Instagram is Marcus Willis Senior. It is private, so I won't accept everybody. Facebook, I'm on Facebook as Marcus Willis too. My advice is always be true to yourself. Always be loyal to your kids. Grind until. Outwork everyone, and in this game you never know who's watching. So just be true to yourself, be loyal to yourself, and get after it, and always put God and keep God first.
Did you know that I have 2 books? One called The Little Girl with Big Dreams. It's about an ambitious little girl who overcomes every no to say yes to a dream. The other is called Changing Lanes. It teaches you about the things that you learn from sport and how it translates to life after sport. Be sure to check these out at itsjustdifferentpod.com. Let's get to the episode.
Like you talked about it at Decaney, like y'all lost one game and it was state champs. High level basketball player, being able to play at Texas. A lot of people don't get that opportunity. To your first head coaching job was at Eastview. Yes. And at the end of the day, like it wasn't, I would say probably not what you were used to. Like you're used to winning. Eastview hadn't had that history of winning. Like talk about that a little bit. Like how are you able to, you just said like some of the players still message you, thank you for making us a team. Like how were you able to shift, I guess maybe shift might not be the right word, but shift your mindset of like meeting those kids where they were and helping them be successful in their own way?
Yes. Eastview High School will always be love. Eastview High School is my babies, my home, my everything. I will never, ever forget that experience and those people who gave me that opportunity. I remember when I was given the opportunity and I fell to my knees crying because it was astronomical to me to be able to be in a position of leadership where I can influence a younger generation and give back. And so shout out to Coach Dean and Emily Durrell, because they're amazing people. But shifting into that space of maybe not initially being the most competitive, it was establishing the culture that you aspire to. It is being able to meet kids where they are. And I always say that if you can coach, baby, you can coach anybody. I can coach that rock.
Talk that talk.
I can coach anybody. And maybe we're not going to win every single game, but coaching doesn't necessarily equate to winning. I mean, if we're looking up the definition of coaching, I'm not sure if winning is even in the definition. And so when I talk about coaching, we're talking about life. You know what I mean? So when I talk about these kids at Eastview, I was able to see who these kids are for like who they are and where they are in life. And I saw kids who wanted and needed an opportunity and would run through a wall for it. And these kids just wanted to understand that, or wanted to feel that they were loved, they were cared for, and they were worth the time and effort of development. And so once they understood that became our culture. And I just shared with my kids that, look, the way that I played the game of basketball was the hard part was trying to get people to match my energy and my effort. The easy part was acquiring the skill. So once I got that buy-in from my team, look, I got a bunch of 4'11", 5'6", 5'7" players who play extremely hard. You just got to play harder than them. That's it. We got to understand angles. Yes, we got to be smart about it. But all you got to do is outwork them. We can disguise some of this lack of experience. And that's what we did a lot of. A lot of what we did was outwork our opponents. And so there were a lot of games that we shouldn't have been in. And teams didn't understand how the heck is this Eastview team in this game. But it was simply just, you can't match our passion. You can't match our energy. And you for sure are not going to match this effort. You're not going to do it.
Yeah.
And once we got there, acquiring the skill was simple. It was simple. It was, we're going to do a ton of film breakdown. I'm going to make this scout, but you're going to make this scout too. You're going to understand the whys. You're going to understand why we're doing exactly what we're doing. And that's going to build your IQ. once we built that IQ, and it's you already got the effort and the energy. This is nothing. This is nothing. It's just basketball. It's just basketball, and it's a little bit of work. And so the buy-in was everything from my team. I had 1 through 14 working like it ain't no tomorrow. You gonna run through this wall? I'm gonna sub you in, and you gonna run through this wall. And that's how we played the game of basketball.
Like going from like SA Finance, one of the top teams in the top programs in the country. It's just, what's the word I want to say? Just a different caliber of player, right? Different caliber of player. And then you got Judson High School, like looking at, because I'm assuming you're working with freshman, JV, and varsity, right?
Correct. Yeah, I work with all three.
Yep. So, going to the high school level, like how are you making that adjustment, with what you're teaching them, how you're coaching them, etc.?
You just got to know your personnel. Like I'd always look at it as far as like when I'm working with the freshmen, we really got to break down like the ball handling, the footwork, and the pivots and everything. But going up the ladder, you work with them on the same stuff, just more advanced. You still work on the ball handling, you still work on the footwork, you still work on all the stuff, just at more advanced. So it's cool seeing like the different breakdowns from freshmen, and with varsity and JV and stuff. So it's the same stuff, just more advanced.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. So being at Judson, like what I guess what coaching style, like what are you taking away from Judson from high school that you can bring to AAU?
I'll probably say patience, working with, like you said, the freshman, the JV, and the varsity, just learning patience as far as like it might take kids longer to learn. It might take kids, more reps to understand it. So just being a little bit more patient when doing certain drills, when playing the games, like just being real patient and really understanding the different levels
Yeah.
that's to the game.
No, for sure. Now, what do y'all practices look like at Judson? Like, I know one of the biggest things are
um,
I think, can you hear me?
yeah, you're good.
Okay. I was like, I think we froze.
Oh, snap.
Look,
Okay, I was gonna say, dang, we
listen, y'all. We acted like that because we had a little bit of these issues at the very beginning. So we thought it was just
got a little
a
nervous. I
whole
was like,
freeze.
yeah, I got.
No,
All
but
right, we good, we good.
yes. One of the, things that, I see a lot is almost like the drop off when you get to high school a little bit. Like some of the high school programs are not serious about the weight room or like really taking like the importance of like high school basketball. What does it look like at Judson?
Right. We got a great strength coach. Coach Jeremy definitely makes sure we stay in the weight room, make sure we stay on top of that. And then our practices, Coach Camacho likes to incorporate a lot of stuff. So we'll have like a rebounding drill, we'll have a full court drill, we'll have shooting drills, we'll have a skill session, and then we break down like plays and stuff. So the way she has it set up is definitely good, and it definitely helps the kids learn and stay focused. Because a lot of like the attention span of kids, going in there for 2 hours, we might lose them. But how she has her practices set up, they're really good. Like we'll throw in shooting drills here and there, we'll throw in little fun drills here and there where they can compete. And it's definitely cool because like she'll give me the opportunity to bring some of our shooting drills from Arkansas to the practice. So
That's
it's
dope.
cool to be able to implement those in the practices.
Yeah, that's dope. Like I really believe that to make a well-rounded athlete, it's a village, and that village is AAU coach, trainer, high school coach, parents. Like everybody should be working together, and I don't think that you see that a lot, right? Like I think some kids can't help what school they go to. They just can't help that at the end of the day. But like I think that the really good kids and kids that be able to take their game to a next level are also kids that are in good high school programs.
100%. I definitely agree with that.
What's the culture that you're building?
Definitely, we over me. I try to meet kids where they at. You know, building relationships, bonding to being on time, bonding to providing energy, effort, heart, and hustle every day. Hashtag EHH. Be present. Play present. I think that's pretty much, kind of some dialogue on what our chemistry and culture is. commit to each other.
Yeah.
Commit to each other. I think that's a lot that we have them play for each other and commit to each other. So I think that's the Vega culture. Bench energy, providing bench energy, you know, and celebrating your W's, praising each other. So that's a couple of cues that I know that it kind of builds our culture.
Yeah. Now this year you had your I think it was the first camp. Am I right?
Yes. Yes.
This year you had the first camp. Talk about that a little bit. Like I think it's so important for these high schools to have these camps, like get these young kids in the gym. They can work out, they can be a part of the program, see some of the kids in the program. Like talk about that a little bit.
Man, I am still exhausted from the camp. Hey, so I still got my banner back behind me right now. I hadn't even took it down. You know what I mean? So no, had been thinking about doing a camp for the last couple of years. After winning back-to-back state championships, I felt like it was only right for us to give back to the community and kind of, you know, show people on what we do. But also just be able to kind of give back and pour back. So, and let me go for the record. Thank you for pulling up on me on the camp. I appreciate that.
No problem.
But no, I really, you made you and Moja, and of course my camp instructor just made my day yesterday. So, but no, just being able to pour back and give back to the community. Show these kids that, you know, their instructors and their campers were, their instructors, were, you know, D1 collegiate athletes or college basketball players or high-level high school players and, you know, professional players, you know. So, and these were some of these kids that I was telling you the other day, like I actually had my hands on, you know, coaching in the grassroots, in the AAU scene. So for them to come back, I made one call or one quick text message and it said, Coach, I'm pulling up. Coach, I'm pulling up. I got you, Coach. So for the campers to be instructed by some kids that has made it out, you know, walking the same, you know, halls that they're walking right now or walking the same high school halls that they're going to walk right now and, you know, graduating or playing college ball at the highest level. Like it's showing those girls or those guys that you can do it too. You know, it's not about just DFW or Houston or Austin or the bigger cities. You know, this is right here in Waco, Texas, where you got professional athletes, you got D1 athletes, you got collegiate athletes. You know, they're showing you that they can get it done. So that right there just made my heart glad. And then my mom, you know, being here, my sister that you did not know about on my staff, you know what I'm saying? You know, my wife, she was working summer school, but she's sliding here and kind of, you know, checking on me, you know, and then my sponsors just being able to take care of it. We were able to feed these kids breakfast and lunch on both days. You know, it's just, you know, it was a wow experience, you know, and it was an amazing, amazing feeling. So I'm still on a natural high on how successful the camp was. And so, and it was big. It was just like that both days. We had a great 2 days of camp.
Yeah. You know, the thing that I love is that the kids got to see different levels. Like you said, whether that was a high-level high school athlete or whether that was a college athlete at different levels, whether that was JUCO or D1 or D2 or whatever, and then all the way up to a professional player. Like, and that's what I'm about. Like, I don't think all these kids, well, I know all these kids not going to go play in the league, right? All these kids might not go play in college. Yes, we have merch available. Be sure to check out the site at itsjustdifferentpod.com to see if it's something you may like. All right, back to the episode.
And were we the most successful? No, but we were successful in how we define success. We made playoffs. We went 11, 12, 13 games without a point guard. And so that type of adversity and getting my kids to understand that this needed to happen so that you guys can grow, so that when our point guard comes back, where you felt discomfort in handling basketball, you can help her. You know what I mean? So we were placed in a lot of adverse situations that were so necessary, and having them understand that the adversity is necessary. It's not punishment. It's not punishment. It is necessary, and we're going through it together. Like, we walking through this fire, but I'm walking through it with you. And so when my kids understood that we in the trenches together, we running these suicides, we running together. We did everything together. It really built the culture, and it built it on a foundation of love and compassion and grace. And so when we had to face those storms, we was all in that boat. We was all in it. And it didn't feel like they had to row it alone. So when things got really, really hard, I could look to them and they could look to me, and we understood that it's okay. Because if we lose this game, It's just a game. We all got better, and we're better people because of it. At the end of the day, it's about becoming better people. It's about your growth and your personal development. If that ball goes in that hole, sometimes we can't control that. We can't.
Right.
So that's how we were able to do it.
Now I want to talk about the how though. Like there's a lot of coaches who need some help. They coaching their team, they doing what they need to do, they got the scout ready, they watching the film, but they can't get the kids to buy in. How were you able to get them to buy in?
Do you know your kids? Do you know your kids? What's their favorite color? What are they doing after school? How many siblings do they have? Are their parents together? What's their family dynamic like? Do you know your kids? And if you don't take the time to know your kids, you may be able to establish a culture, but it might not be the one you aspire to, or it might take a little bit longer to get there, and you won't have everybody's buy-in. You won't. You got to treat that starting point guard the same way that how you get to know them. You get to know that bench player who may never ever suit up, who might be a flex player, who might be JV and varsity, who may never play a single second of varsity basketball until maybe playoffs, if that. But do you know your kids? And I can assure you, if you ask my kids, they will tell you, Coach Bre knows when my birthday is. Coach Bre bought me this for my birthday. Coach Bre shows up to our soccer game. She comes to our softball game. Do you know your kids? Do they feel that they are truly cared for? And no, you won't like them every day. You're not going to like them every day, and they're not going to like you every day. And that's family. You got to think about this. Like, do you and your mama see eye to eye on every single thing? Do y'all sometimes have little rifts in your relationships? Absolutely. But that foundation will never change because that love is there. That compassion is there. That grace is there. My kids know that it's not buddy. If you see me coach and practice on the sideline, it ain't buddy for 32, 40 minutes. It's not. It's a whole lot of accountability for 32 minutes. But when we walk outside of that 94 feet, baby, what we're doing after this, what we cooking, what shoes dropping, you know what I mean? Like, did you hear that Broadway song that just dropped? Like, it's a lot of getting to know the player before the athlete. And that's just how I approach my teams. That's how I approach life. That's how I approach my classroom, is I have to meet them where they are.
You picking up full court. She knew like that. She brought energy to the team every time. Like, I'm telling you, we hype every time she took a charge.
Right. Because that's something like most players don't want to do.
They don't want to do it.
Don't want to defend the other. No. And for somebody to do it, that's going to get everybody else hype.
Like that's how she got on the court.
But kids nowadays got to understand that. They have to understand that 100%.
Yes, like for real. Like that's literally like how Devin got minutes. Like she gonna turn the ball over, she gonna miss some shot, but I know she gonna defend. I know she probably gonna get a charge.
Right. Like that. And I think that's the joy, I guess you could say, in AAU, because there's some teams like I gotta shout out SA Finest. SA Finest players know their role.
Yeah.
Like they know their role. They know what they're supposed to come do. They know if they're shooters, defenders, point guards. And that's like the joy in it. I see it when I watch them. Like even being in the practices, I see it. I'm like, it's basketball for real.
Yeah, for sure. And like the thing about it, like it's more to the kids knowing their role. It's also the parents accepting their role.
100%. 100%. And now that makes a great program.
Yes.
Players accepting it, or players understanding it, and parents accepting it. 100%. I agree with that.
Yeah. Like parents, like you're telling them what their role is, but mom and daddy telling them, no, you need to go score the ball. No, you need to be doing this. Like, bruh.
No, thanks. That's true though. That's true. It's crazy. It's crazy nowadays.
Like that's the thing. Like you have to understand it, and then you got to be able to accept it. And it's not saying you can't do anything else. Like you just said,
right.
Be perfect at one thing, good at the other. If you're a shooter, we're not telling you that you can't score any other ways, or you can't defend, or you can't rebound, you can't do all these other things. But what can I tell a coach that you do really well?
That's the biggest thing when college coaching's calling, like, oh, what does this kid do? And you're kind of like, well, they do this thing good and this thing. What do they do great, though? If you can say, coach, this kid really defends, gets after it 100%, and can maybe give you a knockdown shot here and there.
Because guess what? They can work on that. They can work on that. But if you tell them, oh, they can defend, they got this, like, We can work on the shot.
Exactly, 100%. They can work on. That's what I'm saying. Be great at one thing, perfect it, perfect it, perfect it. Be good at the other things.
That's a fact,
Easy,
man. Yeah,
yeah,
I love
easy.
it. I love it. So SA finest, and then you're at Judson. When did you get to
Yes,
Judson?
my first year, first
This year's
year,
your first year.
first
Shout
year.
out to that. How's it going so far?
It's good. I love it. Just being able to be around basketball 24/7 is great. Being able to give back again to the city, being in my hometown, and being able to. I played for Coach Camacho, so I played for her while she was coaching at Wagner, and being able to coach with her now is definitely a great experience, and I'm loving every bit of it. Learning the game in the different ways, seeing different sides of it, and it's just cool being able to teach players, that are at different levels. Because in high school, there are different levels
Yeah.
to the game. So being able to just to see and being able to help and really see the growth in certain players is definitely it. I don't know. It makes me happy being able to
Yeah.
see that.
Yeah, how have you been able to like really make that adjustment? Like, now you said something that I want to hit on. It's some opportunities in these preseason practices. It's some offers in these preseason high school practices where these coaches
Yes.
are coming. What advice would you give to high school coach and to players like to prepare for when these coaches are coming to these practices?
You never know who's in the gym watching you. So at the end of the day, like I said, once we will take on probably some practice schedules as well too, or practices
Yep.
format. I mean, your practices should be harder than your games. You should practice harder. You should work harder in practice. The game should be easy. The game should reflect on your hard work that you've done to prepare for that game. But building relationships is key. Because I'm a prime example. The year before, maybe I had maybe between 3 to 5 coaches maybe in September.
Mm-hmm.
Versus last year, I had over 30, 40 coaches come to our gym in September.
Wow.
So within a year, your relationships and what you do on the court matters, of course.
Mm-hmm.
So winning helps, playing high level helps, but building relationships and, like I said, just buying into working hard every day will get you the opportunities that you need, especially in the early months of September.
Yeah. Now, what does a La Vega practice look like? If you can break that down, I would say from preseason, in season, and off season.
Uh, off season, a lot of lifting, a lot of conditioning, a lot of skill, a lot of one-on-ones, a lot of small-sided games, a
Mm-hmm.
lot of 2-on-2, 3-on-3 action. In season, pre-district, we pretty much scale it until, I mean, we still go hard a lot. We kind of mimic I mean, we live throughout the whole season.
Mm-hmm.
We lighten up, I guess, when it gets to the playoffs. We start out typical, just a dynamic warm up. We get into some ball handling, maybe some simple drills that we do on a regular. We do individuals every day almost.
Mm-hmm.
And I try to do some small sided games a lot too as well. I think that has helped us. The 3-on-3 action definitely helped us a lot. And then we do a lot of 5-on-0. Once it gets later into the season, we don't do a lot of 5-on-5. We get after it in the preseason, of course, because like I said, we try to practice harder than we to the game. So we get after it a little bit. I had to scale that down a lot this year because the competition that we were
Yeah.
playing so high level. So I kind of did a lot of 5-on-0 a little earlier than what I would normally do.
Mm-hmm.
And then we break the season down as far as preparation. I think kind of like in 4 parts. So we prepare for preseason, a certain amount of sets and things that we run for the preseason, and then those are kind of easy things. We kind of reflect on last year, and then as the preseason going on, we prepare for like a district.
Yeah.
So we'll be running the sets and things that we'll do, and then when district comes, we'll prepare for the playoffs. And then when playoffs come, we'll throw some quick things that no one has seen
Yeah.
to get ready for regionals or state semi. So that's kind of how we do as far as our sets and things like that. We run over our sets every day. We do defense every day. So whether if it's a defensive series, a circuit, just the slides, closeouts, we do a lot of ball screen action as well too, because that's a lot of our offenses. So a lot of that. But I can tell you the biggest thing that we do that has helped us is individuals.
Mm.
Positions. We get 20 to 30 minutes a day sometimes, and a lot of shooting, a lot of shooting, a lot
Yeah.
of shooting as well. We shoot every day,
Yeah.
day.
Now I
So
feel like
I know it's
cultures.
kind of
Oh,
all
my
over the
bad. Go
place.
ahead. No, that's good.
I know it's kind of all over the place, but that's a typical, practice, and we try to make it collegiate ready. So everything's
Yeah.
up tempo. We work transition every day as well too, of course. So those are the things that we kind of do to prepare us for.
Yeah, no, I like it. Now, I feel like culture is big. Like, what would you say? I guess it's the culture at La Vega.
And no, you won't like them every day. You're not gonna like them every day, and they're not gonna like you every day. And that's family. You got to think about this. Like, do you and your mama see eye to eye on every single thing? Do y'all sometimes have little rifts in your relationships? Absolutely. But that foundation will never change because that love is there, that compassion is there, that grace is there. My kids know that it's not buddy. If you seen me coach and practice on the sideline, it ain't buddy for 32, 40 minutes. It's not. It's a whole lot of accountability for 32 minutes. But when we walk outside of that 94 feet, baby, what we're doing after this, what we cooking, what shoes dropping? You know what I mean? Like, did you hear that Broadway song that just dropped? Like, it's a lot of getting to know the player before the athlete. And that's just how I approach my teams. That's how I approach life. That's how I approach my classroom, is I have to meet them where they are. And meeting them where they are means that I care about the individual, because I have a kid right now who, new kid who told me, Coach, I'm sorry, we were doing 4-corner passing. You told me to raise my left hand and point to my left, but I'm dyslexic. Now I can better understand why you were raising your right hand. It makes total sense. Like, and how can I fault you for that? And I always tell my kids that, like, how can I punish you for something that's just who you've been? And I don't know that about you yet. And I don't know how to coach you yet. I don't know how to better support you yet. But when you can learn how to better support the player, the individual, you can establish that culture with your team. Absolutely. I know that I can meet my point guard at half court and be nose to nose with her and be like, hey, like, stop turning my ball over. But her sister, I might have to be like, hey, like, look, you turned the ball over a couple times. You made that great pass. But look, maybe you need to do this a little bit. Do this a little different. You'll know how to coach each player in a way that they can receive information well.
That's good. That's good. Now, most high school coaches, once their high school season is over, baby, they are done with basketball.
Oh,
you moved into AAU. What made you get into coaching AAU?
AAU has always been a big part of my life. And, I wanted to step away from it. I have a daughter, I have a 2-year-old, and just really want to focus a lot of being present with my daughter. And, I coach for Hoop Shop, our 17U national team. And I never, ever thought I would really be in this position as a head coach. I always said, I want to have that balance. Right.
Yeah.
But you go back to your ministry, you go back to your calling, you go back to your purpose. And I went to a couple of other workouts and I saw the players, and I saw the players who needed mentorship. Yeah. I saw players who needed the guidance. I saw players who needed representation, and representation matters. They needed somebody who looks like them, who can talk like them, who can meet them again where they are. And I think it's a huge testament to why SA Finest is the team that they are.
I hope you enjoyed this episode. Leave us a comment with some of your biggest takeaways. If you didn't have a takeaway, just say, I love supporting It's Just Different podcast. Make sure you subscribe on YouTube, follow on Apple, Spotify. And if you're not following on Instagram, I don't know what you're doing. Follow the page on Instagram. It's Just Different Pod.